Hey, everybody, welcome. Today is Saturday, December 10th. This is Jonty, and this is our international North American and Eurasian Circassian class. This is the class summary and review. For those of you who are in class, welcome back. For those of you who couldn't make it, we hope that this video is going to be helpful to you. So first, I'm going to do a very quick walkthrough of the content that we're going to be covering today, and then we're going to actually practice this with two of the students from today's class. So this is a storytelling method. Every lesson is a self-contained micro story. If you watch every video, if you attend every class, you're going to have a really big vocabulary. If you can only make it every so often, that's fine. You're still going to learn a lot. You're going to learn the contents of this story. Okay. So today we're going through a story around the verb to have. Yen. Yen. And here's the story. It's very simple. The boy has a friend. Salem nibzoch yes. Salem nibzoch yes. And for those of you who cannot read Circassian, here is the transliteration below. We know that the boy has a friend. So how do I say that I have something? Sa si es. Wa we es. Ab yes. Right? And what you can see here is what is common is this verb root of and that in Eastern Circassian, when we are making a statement, we add ish to the end. And some of you might have also heard us at the end. So if I say sa si es, or if I say sa si es, these are both correct. These are both correct. It's always going to be spelled the way it is on the screen, but they're both correct. And then in Circassian, many of our verbs have a slightly different form for the question. So here, if I say, do I have? Sa, si, a. So because I'm not making a statement, I don't have this ish, which can also be said as is at the end, right? Sa, si, a. And I'm inflecting my voice up. Sa, si, a. Wa, we, a. Ab, ye, a. And this pronoun, it means he, she, or it. It can be a boy, it can be a girl, it could be something that's not a boy or a girl. It can be a human, it can be an animal, or something that's not alive, a rock, a phone, a robot, right? Whatever. And in today's class, we're just going to be going through these basic vocabulary words. Plan, international word, pretty easy to understand. Whoopsa, whoopsa, which is a question. And problema, which another international word. So hopefully this is going to be good practice and not a whole lot of difficulty. So we have two volunteers from today's class. We have San and we have Christina. And we're going to go through this the way that exactly that we do in our normal class. So for those of you who are sticking around and still participating in listening mode, please do mute your microphones. However, I highly encourage you to practice to the extent you're comfortable, anything and everything that we're talking about. Okay, so let's get into it. Class.
Sit.
What the heck was that? Class.
Sit.
Ah. Salem nibzoch yes. Ooh. Salem nibzoch yes. Ooh. Christina.
Yeah. Sit.
Salem nibzoch yeah.
نتا شعلم نبجوه يأب.
Salem nibzoch yes. Pez. Correct. San.
Sit.
Sa plan CS. Ooh. Sa plan CS. Christina.
Sit.
Sa nibzoch sia.
حاو وبلان ويأش.
Pez. Sa plan CS. San.
Sit.
Salem plan yeah.
How? Shalom. نبجعو يأقم
Salem.
pardon
Salem. Qaji ajit. Tell me again.
okay, so how تعلم نبزعو
Yes.
يأش
Ah, Pej, bravo, bravo. Alam nibzog yes. Acha. Sa plan sias. Sa nibzog si atom. Nibzog si atom. Sa plan sias. Salam nibzog yes. Christina.
ست
Wa whoopsa we us. Whoopsa we us. Ooh. Whoopsa we us. San.
ست
Christina plania.
how Christina plan no la quoi plan no yes
Planiakam. Haj. Christina planiakam. Sit. Christina ya.
sorry
Sit. Christina ya. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Christina yes no Christina whipsha yes
Pez. Christina whoopsa yes. San.
ست
Wa problema we us. Ooh.
okay
What a sad story this is. Sa nabzog si akam. I have no friends. Wa problema we us. You have a problem.
I do
And Christina whoopsa yes. She has a question. She's probably wondering, why am I hanging out with people with no friends and problems, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we now understand the story, right? We know what's going on in the story. The boy has a friend. I have a plan. Christina has a question, and San has a problem. Okay, so now that we know what's going on in the story, we're going to go into the practice part, which is we're going to ask yes or no questions. We're going to ask either or questions. And then in today's class, we're going to ask who questions or what questions. Okay, so do you guys understand the contents of this little micro story? Yeah.
can we just go over it quick? Christina has a plan, is it?
Okay. Adigabzucha in Circassian. Adigabzucha. Okay. Salim nibzog yes. Ooh. Salim nibzog yes. Sa janti sa plan
Okay.
si ash. Sa plan si ash. Okay. Wa Christina wa whoopsa we ash. Wa whoopsa we ash. Yatana and then Yatana san problema yes. San problema yes. San has a problem. Ab problema yes. She has a problem. So I can say San problema yes. San has a problem. I can say ab problema yes. She has a problem. Okay. Pretty simple story, right? It's a sad story, but it's a good story. Okay. So class.
Sis.
Sanabzog si'a.
How
Hawa. Sanabzog si'aqam. Sit si'a.
وبلان ويأش
Pej. Sa plan si'ash. San.
Sid.
Kat problema ya'a.
Well, me. Sa problema yash. CH, sorry. Problema CH.
CH. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, we have in class 3 simple rules. We don't talk about politics. We don't talk about religion, and we don't laugh at others. There's a 4th rule that I forgot to mention. We don't say sorry.
Okay.
We don't say sorry. There's nothing for you to be sorry about. You're learning. You're learning. Okay. So, Adsha, Christina,
ست
what sit we a?
سا وبش سي اش
What whoopsa we a? Sa
انت
whoopsa si a.
حوا وبلان وي ا
Ah, pez sa plan si as. San plan ye a. Christina.
حوا سان بروبليما يي اش
Ya lih situ belih. Oh my
You're
God, what a
crushing it.
terrible misfortune. San problema ye as. San problema ye as. Ay, ay, ay. Si Jar was it a khunchi. What a terrible tragedy. San
ست
alam nabjaw ye a. Hamra plan ye a.
عالم نبجوغ يأش.
Pej alam nabjaw ye as. Christina.
ست
Sa nabjaw si a. Hamra plan si a.
وبلان وي ا
Sa plan si ash. Christina,
ست
san ye whoops. Ask san. San ye whoops. Sit ye a.
مهم. سان وست وي اش وي ا
Sorry, can you repeat that?
اوكي سان وست وي ا
What? Sit Oh, sala problema CH.
Ah, san problema ye ash. San, Christina ye whoops. Sit a be ye a.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Wa san, Christina ye whoops. Ask Christina. Sit a be ye a.
Okay. Christina, I should ask her what she has. Is
Yeah.
that it?
Yeah.
Just in general. Okay. Sit wa we ash, Christina.
سا وبش سي اش
Abe whoopsy yes. Rashi Salam nabzog yes. Sa plan si as. Christina whoopsy yes. San problema yes. Het nabzog yeah. Salam.
Alam.
Het plan yeah.
جانتي
Janti. Het whoopsy yeah.
Christina.
Christina. Het problema yeah.
Sandra.
Sandra. Sandra sit yeah.
Sandra sit. Yeah.
Okay.
Sandra problema yes.
Janti sit yeah.
Janti plan yes.
وي اش
Christina sit yeah.
سا وبش سي اش
Paz.
I remember my mother usually used yes, issued. We used yes. It's wrong to say yes.
No, it's not wrong. And I think it breaks my heart because I think somebody on Facebook misunderstood something that I may have said in a breakout room. I can't imagine saying this because it goes against everything I believe. So everyone, please listen to me very carefully. We need to get away from, there's 2 false things we need to get away from. One is, there's all these dialects of Adigabza. There's all these different there's a million dialects of Circassian. False. The other thing we need to get away from is this is right and this is wrong. This is mostly false. I mean, yes, if you make a mistake, if you call a cat a bird, this is wrong, right? If you say cat go nuts in Adiga, this is wrong, right? But 90% of what Adiga people say is wrong is actually not wrong. So let me talk about the dialects first. For those of you who speak Arabic, you know there's in Arabic something called Fusha. For those of you who don't speak Arabic, there's modern standard Arabic, which is the literary standard of Arabic. And then there's the Arabic that's spoken every day in Syria, in Saudi Arabia, in Morocco, right? There are these regional variations, but there is a literary standard, okay? In Circassian, there are two literary standards. There is the Western standard, which Kabardians call Tsacha, and Westerners call Chemkwe. Then there's the Eastern standard, which we call Kabardian or Kabarde. Now, from an Eastern perspective, there's really two dialects, and I call them dialects. When I say dialect, it's like somebody in Texas versus somebody in Australia. That's how close they are. And it's Beslené. I think Jimmerkwe might be, I forget where Jimmerkwe fits in, but I know there's Beslené, maybe Jimmerkwe, and then there's Kabarde. And these dialects are so close that when I speak to somebody who speaks Beslené, I can't tell. It's almost like I live in Chicago now. If I meet somebody from California, it might take me 5 minutes to figure out they're from California, right? When you go to the Western dialects, now this is also a Digabza, Abazach, Shapsoch, Bjadoch, and there's other ones as well. What we call Jemkwe, what Westerners call Jemkwe, and what Easterners call Tsacha is its own like Fusha unto itself, right? And much like modern standard Arabic is not spoken in the house, right? It's spoken on the news. Tsacha, Jemkwe, is not really spoken. There's minor differences because it has a higher level of literary standard, okay? It's very close. I'm sorry, Jemkwe is what, it is what this is based on, not the Eastern. It's very close to Bjadoch. It's very close to Bjadoch, but it's a little different than Shapsoch, and it's more different from Abazach. All right. These are all equally valid forms of Circassian. So if I say to somebody in this class, we mahwafua, and somebody says, we mafafua. If I say mahwa, and somebody says mafa. If I say shala, and somebody says chale, or aile, which is another word for boy in Western Circassian. This is all fine. In this class, I was in a breakout room. Oh, please don't be mad. I'm going to speak in Abazach. Speak in Abazach. If it's what, this is what your mother spoke to you. This is what your father spoke to you. This is what your grandparents spoke. There's a special place in your heart for this language. Who am I to say, don't speak that way? I don't speak that way well enough to teach it, but I can understand what you're saying, and it's valid. It's true. It's correct. Now I'll get to, so this is a super important point we all have to remember. We are all Circassian. And those of us in this class who are not Circassian, you're a member of our community because you've decided to learn our language. I cannot say this clearly enough. If any of you ever hear anybody or see, you have to correct this unfortunate view that they have. Now you ask this question about this qim and about ish and all these things. Language in its fluid state is like water. It flows where it wants to flow. It picks up something, it mixes, okay? There's no such thing as pure language anywhere in the world. I made this point in my North American class. If you go to apply for a job as an American, you submit your résumé, French word. If you go and you eat pizza, well, why is there not an American word for pizza? It's because these things come into our vocabulary. In the whole world, internet is an international word. Qahwe, coffee, it's just a mispronunciation. Metro, metro. It's a mispronunciation. It's the same word all over the place, okay? Language is fluid. As the Circassian language became documented, right, certain variations of it made it to a textbook and certain didn't. There was a point in time when some guy in the Soviet Union said, well, I grew up doing it this way, so that's how I'm going to put it in the books. People from Baksan in Kabardino-Balkaria, which is where my mother's side of the family is from, they will say, Sasa adigas, arshalas. This is correct. My son speaks this way. I have no idea where he got it from, but it's correct. My parents from Syria speak this way. This is correct. Even if you speak that way, however, you will always spell it with the ish in the books. All right. So if you say sasa adigas, miras sitzar, it's correct. And if I say ish, it's also correct. You're not wrong. I'm not wrong. This qim, okay. This is another example. When they made the textbook and they decided this is our fusha, some guy said, my grandfather said it this way, so I'll say it this way. And another guy said, well, that's overly formal, so I'm not going to do that. The best example I can give you is, I don't know. Okay. In Western, shut up, right? That's how it's said in Western. In Eastern, when we spell it, it's arqam. When my wife says it, when my daughter says it, when my son says it, because they're native speakers, I'm not. Something. So they drop the and they drop the qum. Sarqam becomes something. So this, forget the I'm just using it as an example. This qa that we put into the negation, people say, something, I don't know. Ara'am, that's not what it is. Okay. This water, hawa, mipsa'am. It's not water, right? So this is correct as well. This is correct as well. I'm not going to correct anybody because there's nothing to correct when you say something like this. Now, if you say, mir this boy little, this is incorrect. It's a grammatical function of the language. People will understand you, but it's not the way a native speaker would say it. But if you say something the way a native speaker would say it, it's correct. You know why? Native speakers define the rules of the language, not some grammatical textbook. I'm sorry if that was a little long, but it breaks my heart when people say this is right, this is wrong, you're wrong, that we got to get rid of this view. Arnella asked the question, which was, when or why would we use zia? And the answer is, when I'm asking about a specific person, do you have something? Does she have something? Does it have something? I'm referring to a specific person. I don't know who that person is, but it's clear it's someone in this group, right? So that's when I would use ya. But if I'm asking who in this world has a question, I would say chet zia, right? It's unclear to me. I'm not asking if this particular person or if a member of this particular group has it. It's unspecified. It's almost like the difference between the versus in English, a little bit.
Thanks for the explanation about R and AB. But when I think, yeah, this is very new for me, you know, because I learned it as R and ahar. But when we come to AB now, how about the plural version, you know, because for R we say ahar, but when we say AB,
Abichem.
Abichem. Not abihar, not abihar, abichem. Is that right? Abichem, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, about the sentence structure. So in our break room, maybe I gave somebody some wrong information, actually it was Nino, but we were saying, you know, like I have a question. Se si esh wipshe, or is it se wipshe si esh? You know, like where does the question, is it in the middle? Or do you say se si esh and then wipshe?
Sa wupsha si ash. Again, don't think of it so much as right or wrong, right? Because if you said sa si ash wupsha, people will understand you. And this is not wrong, but I once saw a guy on YouTube talking about how Americans speak English, right? And he gave the example, when a clock is going, it goes tick, tock, tick. It does not go tock, tick. Tock, tick sounds odd. It goes tick, tock, right? Or if we say, you're a funny little boy, we don't say you're a little funny boy. That to say you're a little funny boy sounds natural to a Native American, not a Native American, a native English speaker. But to say you're a little funny boy, that sounds very odd. So it's not that it's wrong. Grammatically, it's not wrong. It's just a little odd. So you could say sasi ashwupsa, right? And it might be that you're emphasizing I have a question. So it could be correct if you're emphasizing that component of the idea that you're trying to put forth. But most native speakers, most of the time, would say sa whoopsa si us. And it's perfectly acceptable to just say whoopsa si us.
I just wanted to double check, or it's probably very basic, but it doesn't mark for grammatical gender, and there are no wait, what's the word?
Circassian does not have grammatical gender. No.
Okay, and there's no articles, right?
There are no articles. The and the are the closest that we have to articles.
I have a question about anta. When you say yes, for some reason in the back of my mind, to me, the word is not a simple yes like in English. There is always like an exclamation associated with it. Is that true, or is just me? For example, when my parents used to say, the word, they're always like, do you have this? Of course I do. Like the anta is always associated with the word, of course I have it. Is that common, with the usage of the word, or?
Not really, but I'll tell you, it reminds me of this funny Instagram video that I saw. This guy, he's playing the two characters of him and his father, and he brings his American friend home, and it's him as well. So he goes, hey bro, come into my house. And his father is speaking in Arabic, and he's chopping up watermelon, and he has like, hey, tell your friend to come and join us. This is really good watermelon. And the guy's like, oh my God, did your dad hate me? And he gets up, he goes, whoa, no, please, I'll make a seat for you. He's still holding the knife because he's chopping. He goes, I'm getting out of here. It's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing. So, but there's no exclamation at the end of it. Sometimes when I'm speaking with friends in Nalchik and they're saying, this is what I think, and I'm saying, like, yes, 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 like 1,000 times yes. So there's no, or I'm talking to my son, okay, okay. He's not shouting it. He's just like, okay, dad, whatever, right? So there's no explanation to this. It's not a shouting, no, what's the word? Explore, no, it's not exclamatory, right? Maybe it's used that way in everyday life, in some portions of everyday life, but it's not by default exclamatory. Grammatical pronoun for plural formal, yes. So we do have plural you, not formal you, only plural you. What is singular? Fa is plural. Or as we say in New Jersey, use guys. So fa. And it has different prefixes. Every verb has a prefix for the pronoun. We're not getting into plurals in this class, but there are different prefixes for the verb for the plurals. Where do you add qum to form the negative? We generally will add it to the verb. But if there's no verb in the sentence, because remember, the verb to be, we have two verbs to be in Circassian, and we don't really use them that often in the present tense. So if you would say, it's not me, for example, saraqam, it's not me. Waraqam, it's not you, right? Or midplan, hawa, planqam, this is not a plan. Okay, ar akhsha, is that money? Hawa, akhshaqam, right? So generally, in the present tense, for a statement, we add qum to the end of a verb. If there's no verb in the sentence, we can add qum to the noun. Arsh'ala, is that a boy? Hawa, sh'alaqam. No, not a boy, because there's no verb in it. Or ar sh'alaqam, both are, much like Russian, we can drop pronouns. English has started to do this too, like questions. We don't say who has a question, or question, right? We do, or want to go to the store? Do you want to go to the store? So English, in modern English, we've started to drop pronouns. Russian has done this for a long time. In Circassian, it's perfectly acceptable. It's not considered street talk. It's not considered informal. It's just, it's completely acceptable.
So in our breakout room session, we had a question whether we should, how should we put sit in a question? So is it any difference if we say şale sit yi'a or sit şale yi'a?
Şale sit yi'a, sit şale. Same.
Okay, thanks.
Now there is a very minor variation of this. I joke around this with my wife all the time and my parents. Chetmur. Who is this? Chetmur. So you come home from school, you have your friend. I'm thinking when we're all little. You come home from school, you have your friend in the house. Your father comes. Oh, Chetmur. Who is this? This is very nice. I want to know this person. Mirchet. Just switch. Yeah. Those of you who speak, you know. Mirchet. It's like, who the heck is this person? What the heck are they doing in my house? This is very subtle. This is the smallest change I can think of. It means grammatically the same thing, but culturally, sometimes mirchet versus chetmir can mean almost the exact one, meaning I would like to know who this person is. The other one being, I don't care who this person is. What the heck are they doing in my house?
I have two questions. I was late, so maybe you've already covered this. So how to say I have a simple question? Where do I put simple? Is it tinch?
Yes, in Circassian, the adjective always comes after the noun.
Okay. And the second question is, what is the difference in pronunciation between this esh with the thingy, like in ch, and the esh, the sh that's at the end of tinch?
In Eastern Circassian, we have 3 esh sounds. In Western Circassian, there's 5 of them, I believe. So in Eastern Circassian, we have, it looks like a square W. Then we have another one, it looks like a square W with a little tail on it. Then we have a third one, it looks like a square W with a tail on it and a stick next to it. It's 2 characters, but it's 1 letter. The first letter you're asking about is the letter in easy, tinch. Hang on, I have a professional microphone up here. Tinch. Okay. The second question is a little bit harder. So imagine that first one. And by the way, this is the same in Russian. So anyone who speaks Russian versus sh, okay. The second one, you can think of it as like SCH. So the second one is sh. So the first one is like the square W with no tail. The second one is a square W with a tail. Can you guys hear the difference? Margarita,
So-
can you, it's small, but
So
can you hear
like
it?
the esh in tinch is closer to the sh sound in English,
No.
or the other way around?
So the, if I say be quiet, shh, it's very soft, right? It's very soft. But if I say, look at those sheep over there. They're making sheep. That's a harder SCH. Okay, so tinch, different than be quiet.
Okay.
Tinch, sheep. Look at those sheep. Different SCH. And there's a third sound, which we see in the word for question. We take that SCH hard sound and we just compress it into a shorter period. Right? So in progression from soft to hard, whoopsa. What that little stick does is it kind of cuts it. It cuts it. It cuts it and makes it a little bit more explosive.
Ar or mr? Mr shalya, ar shalya.
Ar is like he, she, or it, but think of it as that one. That, okay?
That boy,
Mr.
that boy.
Mir is like this one.
Этот, тот. Okay, got it. And the second thing is when I say sit or sita, sita would be more polite, no?
Yeah, because
Softer
like,
version.
yeah, it's when my 5-year-old daughter asks me, Baba, sita, and my wife especially. So yes, this is very soft. It's very soft. I don't know you would say this to another adult that you don't know that well.
Not to the elderly, not to the elderly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you could say it to a friend, right? You could say it to a friend, but it would be like it would almost be like saying my dear.
Mhm.
My dear. My lubuymi.
Okay.
So
That's, got it.
yeah, some people
So-
can get away with it, you know. If you're Austin Powers, you can say that to anyone. But yeah, sitta,
Okay, got
it's a
it.
very arquedsabas.
Mhm.
It's very
Non-formal.
non-formal, yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much.
Here's my request. Okay, and this is something very important. I think there's about 5 million Adiga people in the world. All right, depending on who you talk to, that's probably a good number. Out of those 5 million, I think 3 million would say, I am Circassian. Ya Cherkess, ben Cherkess, Ana Cherkess. Ich bin Cherkess. Out of those 3 million, I think at least 1 out of 100 wants to learn Circassian. I think probably 80%, but let's just say 1%. So if I put all these people in a room and I say to 100 of them, do you want to learn? They're going to say no, 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 99 times. And then one's going to say yes. If that's true, that means there's 30,000 Adiga people in this world who want to learn Adigabza. 30,000. I have 66 people in this class. I have no idea how I'm going to have 30,000 students, but I want to find those 30,000 people. You people are part of that community. I am part of that community. So I need your help finding this big community of Circassians from around the world. 30,000, minimum 30,000. So how can you help me? Tell your friends about the class. Invite everybody to come. If you see anything, I'm not trying to make money. Believe me, no one I know has ever made money with Adiga stuff, okay? I'm not trying to make money. I'm not trying to become famous. Like, subscribe, anything you see me put on social media, tag me, put a little heart, make a comment on the Facebook group, make it on the YouTube videos, even if it's just a little thumbs up or thank you. Those things, okay? Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, when it sees that people are liking and commenting, it says, oh, let me take this information and share it with more people who are friends with that person. And that's how we're going to get to those 30,000 Adiga people around the world. Okay, so I only ask one thing. Help me build this community to be as big as it can be. And I think 30,000 is the minimum, because I don't think 1 out of 100 people want to learn Adigabza. I think 80%. I think 90%. It's just a matter of finding the time. Okay. And the most important thing is for people to know it's possible. I think most of you know this. I'm not a native speaker of Circassian. I did not start speaking Circassian until I was 31 years old. Prior to that, I knew 2 words, Adiga, Bzaja. Because my father always said, you're Adiga, and my mother always said, you're Bzaja. My parents loved me. I'm just kidding. I love them too. But we've all had that experience. So it is possible. So please, from the bottom of my heart, anything you can do to get this message out, help me, help us make this community as big as possible. You guys did great. Do you guys feel nervous?
I was.
No, that's okay.
But it's fun.
Okay.
Yeah,
great.
it's very cool.
Okay. Thank you, everyone who continue to stick around. I know this is a big investment of time. Thank you for trusting me with your time. It means a lot to me. And like I said, let's do what we can to make this community as big as possible. So everyone have a good evening, a great weekend, and I will see you this coming week.
Thank you, John T.
So,
Thank
Goodbye,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Whoopso, John T.
you.
Whoopso.
So
bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
yeah.
Bye.
Verwünschen für